Imagine this. You're a college student, right? And your daily commute to class is this soul-crushing 90 minutes, mostly just stuck in traffic.
Sounds awful.
Yeah, exactly. And for Logan Green, that wasn't just like a bad day. It was his reality, and it really gnawed at him. Fast forward years later, that same frustration, it actually sparked a whole transportation revolution, led to a fortune reportedly around $450 million.
Wow.
But what's really interesting, the question we want to dig into today is, what did Logan Green actually do differently? How did he go from just being stuck to, well, changing how millions of us get around?
Yeah, and what really sets him apart, I think, is that he wasn't chasing the next big tech trend. He wasn't trying to invent, flying cars or anything.
Right.
He just looked at a system that was clearly broken.
Yeah.
I mean, the massive inefficiency of our commutes, something most of us just sigh about.
We just accept it.
Exactly. We accept it. But he just refused. He wouldn't tolerate it. So today, we're doing a deep dive into how that one single annoyance really lit the fuse for Lyft.
And reshaped city transport, basically.
Pretty much.
So yeah, this deep dive is all about getting into that mindset, the decisions he made, which were often, kind of counterintuitive.
Definitely not the standard playbook.
Not at all. We're going to explore how his idea of wealth was surprisingly different, why he chose to build slowly when everyone else was racing.
Which is fascinating in the startup world.
Totally. And how he used influence not really to dominate, but more to genuinely shift how we behave in cities. I think by the end, you'll have some real aha moments about what it actually takes to build something that lasts.
Sounds good. Where do we start?
Okay, so let's really unpack this. His journey, it didn't start with wanting to be rich.
Not at all.
Back in 2005, UC Santa Barbara, his friends are maybe thinking Wall Street, right? He's fixated on buses.
Yeah, buses. Not even fancy ones. Just regular city buses crawling through traffic, half empty.
And it wasn't just an observation. It was like this deep irritation for him. He kept asking this question. It seems simple, but it wasn't. Why are there so many empty seats on the road?
And that question, that simple question, that was basically the seed for everything, his whole philosophy.
Right.
It led him to create this thing called Greenride, basically a campus carpooling website.
Right.
But don't picture a fancy app.
No sleek interface here.
No. It was like a crude spreadsheet he coded himself. Just a way for students to find rides. No money involved, no VC funding. And the key thing here, it wasn't about making something flashy. It was about, as he put it, unlocking what's already wasted, seeing the value in those empty seats.
Okay, I see.
And this idea got supercharged when he took a trip to Zimbabwe. He saw thousands of people using these incredibly efficient, informal, shared minibus taxis.
The Zimride connection later.
Exactly. That experience just cemented it for him. He thought, America needs more connection, not just more cars. He started seeing transport as this whole ecosystem you could optimize.
Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting. Our first kind of aha moment, maybe.
Yeah.
This mindset, let's call it value inversion, finding value where others just see waste, right? That became the absolute bedrock of Lyft later on. Think about it. Uber started out pretty sleek, private driver, black cars.
Right. More exclusive.
Yeah. Lyft, it launched as this friendlier, more community thing. The cars weren't meant to be luxury pods. They were chances to connect people, cut traffic, use that wasted space, more casual, social.
The pink mustache definitely helped with that vibe.
Totally. So Logan's idea of wealth wasn't about extracting more profit. It was about using what we already have just smarter, more efficiently.
So the $450 million fortune, that wasn't the driving force.
Exactly. It was the outcome of solving this problem he felt really deeply, one that most of us just kind of gave up on. It all started with that personal frustration he just wouldn't let go of.
Okay, so he's got this philosophy. How does he scale it?
Right, good question. So 2007, he teams up with John Zimmer, and together they launch Zimride.
The long-distance ride-sharing platform, named after that Zimbabwe trip.
Exactly. But, despite the clever idea, Zimride kind of hit a ceiling.
Yeah, the trips weren't frequent enough. And for these kinds of platforms, you need network effects, right? More users make it better for everyone.
And that just wasn't happening fast enough. People weren't finding rides easily because there weren't enough other people on it yet.
The classic chicken and egg problem for platforms.
Totally. Now, most founders, what do? They double down, right? Add features, chase users.
Pour more money in.
Yeah. But Logan and John did something pretty rare, especially in the startup world with all its ego. They pivoted. Without blinking.
Yeah, exactly. No hesitation. So in 2012, they quietly start testing this new service in San Francisco, Lyft.
The pivot.
The pivot. And the idea was just simple, get a ride across town, fast, friendly driver, pink mustache on the front.
Iconic.
And you could even sit up front and chat. Very different feel. While Uber was going for luxury, black cars, that's serious vibe.
The corporate older brother, yeah.
Lyft leaned right into being quirky, community-focused, the people's ride share.
Right.
And that contrast was really smart, helped them stand out.
So they needed to go all in on Lyft then?
Pretty much. By May 2013, they made the big move, sold Zimride to Enterprise Holdings, freed them up completely.
Okay.
And then, bam, $60 million in funding from Andreessen Horowitz that same year. It was a really clear, calculated shift to chase the better solution to that core problem. Showed amazing agility, really.
Okay, but hang on. Uber's already out there, expanding like crazy, tons of cash. How did Lyft compete, choosing this, slower city-by-city growth? Wasn't that a huge risk?
It definitely seemed counterintuitive.
Yeah. And this brings us to maybe our second aha moment. Logan just refused to play Uber's game.
Totally different strategy.
While Uber was planting flags everywhere globally, often, burning through cash like mad.
Now the blitzscaling model?
Logan insisted on growing city by city and, crucially, working with local governments, not just bulldozing through regulations.
Which was a huge differentiator at the time. A lot of tech was disrupting first, asking questions later.
Right. Lyft launched in maybe a few dozen U.S. cities initially, focusing on building deeper roots. He wasn't chasing that global map. He famously said, "We don't want to be everywhere. We want to be meaningful where we are."
Love that quote.
It sounds less ambitious, maybe, but it wasn't. It was just a different kind of discipline, a belief that just growing huge without purpose could actually kill the company's soul.
And connecting that to the bigger picture, it meant putting value over just sheer volume, trust over raw speed, depth over breadth.
Looking with cities, not against them.
That was massive. It often meant slower starts in new markets, sure, but it built way more sustainable, less hostile relationships.
Did it pay off, though, against the Uber juggernaut?
Well, let's look. By 2019, Lyft goes public on the NASDAQ. $24.3 billion valuation.
Wow.
Logan Green's personal stake was valued over $700 million then, all achieved without that mad rush to exit, without compromising that initial vision.
So yeah, it proves that growing slow, but with purpose, with ethics, it can beat growing fast and just causing friction.
Absolutely. Scale doesn't mean much if you lose your soul along the way. It's about holding on to your values, even when growth pressures tempt you to cut corners. Sometimes you got to say no to build something that actually lasts.
But that kind of slow, principled build, it must have cost them personally, right?
Yeah.
Which leads us to this idea of the grit economy.
Oh, yeah. The early days were tough.
I mean, Logan and John paid themselves nothing for 3 years, 0 salary, no safety net.
That's incredible.
That wasn't some kind of statement. It was just survival. That's the grit economy, where sheer willpower and belief are basically your only assets.
And investors were skeptical back then, right? Getting into a stranger's car seemed weird, even dangerous to many.
Totally strange. Yet Logan just kept building. He taught himself basic coding for the app.
Wow.
Cold emailed colleges for Zimride, handled support tickets himself. It was just pure obsessive work, not flashy hustle culture, just effort.
Makes you think, what kind of conviction does that take? To keep going, unpaid, for years.
Seriously.
John Zimmer told this story once about them in a shared apartment, eating microwaved meals, answering user emails till 2 a.m.
That's dedication.
And that grind, that intense focus, it shaped Lyft's whole culture, made it scrappy, human, super customer-focused. Even later, with millions in the bank, Logan still resisted just chasing growth for growth's sake.
Right, prioritizing partnerships, even turning down buyout offers because he felt the mission wasn't done.
Yeah, he knew the quick flip wasn't the real prize. It was about the long-term impact.
Yeah.
And that probably influenced who they hired too, making sure new people fit that ethos.
And that ethos included things like sustainability, accessibility. That seems hard to bake in when you're a startup fighting for survival. How did they manage that?
Well, this leads us to another key point, maybe the third aha moment, his quiet influence.
Quiet influence, how so?
Logan wasn't about big speeches or flashy announcements. His focus was consistently on improving transport in a sustainable, responsible way, respecting the whole system.
Okay.
So Lyft introduced carbon-neutral rides way before that was cool in tech. They built programs for passengers with disabilities, worked with nonprofits for free rides during elections or emergencies.
Stuff that doesn't necessarily scream profit.
Exactly. And then in 2021, the huge commitment, transitioning Lyft to 100% electric vehicles by 2030. A massive investment. Critics called it crazy ambitious.
But he saw it as necessary.
Absolutely. Because his core belief was really powerful. Companies shape behavior, not just by what they sell, but by what they normalize.
Ah, okay. So making sustainability easy, making kindness the standard.
Making connection feel safe. Lyft subtly changed the whole feel of urban travel. Not through force, but through smart, thoughtful design. He believed in ecosystems, not empires.
So coexisting with Uber, working with public transit.
Instead of trying to crush them. Yeah, his power was quiet. Working through design, through consistent values. It helped shape how whole cities thought about getting around.
Okay, let's fast forward. April 2023, Logan Green steps down as CEO of Lyft. Big news.
Yeah, surprised a lot of people.
And then by August 2025, he and John Zimmer both leave the board entirely. Now, some might see that as, jumping ship or admitting defeat, but it sounds like it was more strategic than that.
Oh, absolutely. It wasn't a retreat. It was a planned transition. It reflects this core belief that real leadership includes knowing when it's time to let go.
Interesting, not clinging to power.
Exactly. And what's fascinating is, just weeks after stepping down as CEO, he pops up again as a partner at Autotech Ventures.
Which focuses on?
The future of mobility.
Yep.
So same mission, just a different role. He kind of embraced what terrifies many founders, becoming less central to the daily operation, and gained perspective.
Right. He'd built it, taken it public, weathered the storms.
And now he's helping the next generation of builders. He trusted the new leadership to handle Lyft's next phase, even with the post-IPO challenges. His specific job there was done.
And that really is our final aha moment, isn't it? Knowing when to step back.
Yeah.
Letting new leaders lead, even in tough times. Understanding that true influence isn't tied to a title, it's about the outcome.
If you've built something strong enough to thrive without you.
You've already won, in a way. That $450 million net worth is one measure of success, sure. But the real wealth, it's in the systems he built.
The carpool networks, the driver norms, the city partnerships, the carbon offsets.
Yeah, all the stuff that keeps working long after his name fades from the headlines. Building something that truly works, even when you're not steering it day to day.
That's the legacy.
So what does all this mean for you listening right now? Logan Green's journey, it's a reminder, isn't it? About the quiet power of just noticing things others ignore.
Empty seats, wasted time in traffic.
Yeah. He didn't build Lyft just to get rich. He built it to fix something that frustrated him personally, and then millions of others. And along the way, he found something maybe deeper than just profit.
The art of thoughtful design.
Exactly. How to grow smart, when to pivot without ego, when to stay focused, and crucially, when to step back. His life is kind of a quiet rebellion against that louder, faster, bigger is always better mantra.
Yeah, it really makes you think. You don't need to be flashy to be powerful, right? You don't need to be everywhere to actually matter. You don't even need to win fast. If you build slow, build with care, with real depth and purpose, you might just outlast everyone else.
Some people push the future forward with speed. Logan Green seemed to do it with direction and connection.
Well put.
So have you ever felt really stuck? In traffic, maybe in a routine, or just in a system that makes no sense?
We've all been there.
Maybe the question isn't always, how do I get out of this? Maybe sometimes it's, what can I build right here from this frustration? Logan Green didn't wait for the world to fix things for him. He saw a problem, his problem, and he fixed the part he could see, and ended up changing how millions of us move.
Because sometimes that smallest question, if you ask it seriously enough, if you pursue it with real conviction, that can be the start of absolutely everything.